Applications are becoming more and more an integral part of our everyday business. Whether those are applications we're using internally by employees or applications that our customers are using and our customers are finding value in. Either way, if there's a critical issue with your application, your business isn't moving forward. Cisco AppD gives you visibility into your application so that you could reduce mean time to resolution when errors occur, or maybe even fix errors before they start impacting your end users. That visibility allows us to continue to drive our business forward with a critical part of our business, which is an application. So today we're going to have a quick demo on application dynamics and get a good visibility into some errors that might be occurring on this demo application. When you first log into the AppDynamics platform, your homepage shows an overview of all of the applications you're currently monitoring with the solution. Here you can see we have one application, so we'll dig into that now. Zoom out a little bit so that you can have a better view of this application flow map. The application flow map shows us all of the different components within our application, and it shows how they all communicate to each other as well. As you can see, the arrows moving as you hover over each component. There's also a color coordinated portion of this flow map as well that shows you the green for stuff that's healthy, yellow for stuff that has warnings, and then red for those critical errors. This gives us the ability to be able to dig into the specifics and get down to what is actually might be harming our application before it's too late. On the right here, we have some events, business transaction health, node health, server health, and the transaction scorecard. You see those are also color-coded where you can see warnings, business transaction for the most part. We see it functioning normally with one warning. The node health and server health, however, shows quite a few warnings and 2 critical errors. We'll want to dig into the specifics of what these errors might be, but for now we'll take a look at this transaction scorecard. With the transaction scorecard, you can actually see that despite the errors that are showing up on node health and server health, for the most part our transactions are functioning properly, they're functioning normally. 12% in errors is rather high though, so we will go into that. At the bottom here, we see load, response time, and errors, and they're all time mapped and time marked. That way we can seem to correlate maybe the load down here at 8:15 with the same amount of error increase here at 8:15 as well. So now we'll dig into the business transactions. The business transactions you could see for the majority of them are healthy. We do have a couple errors here, but only one warning on process trade. So we should dig into process trade and figure out what this warning might be. So looking at process trade, our transaction snapshot still shows mostly green and then a couple warnings here, but nothing critical. So let's go over here to the dashboard. And you can see here that the components within this process, within this business transaction, are actually the ones that we saw in the beginning that were critical. So we should dig into both these critical errors and figure out what might be causing these issues. We'll first dig into policy processing. So once we dig into policy processing, we can actually see here that the node is marked as critical, the health. And we know we're in nodes as we see dashboard and up top, and we're in the node section. So we'll dig into this here. Looking at this, we could see 2 warnings and 1 critical error, all for memory utilization too high, CPU utilization too high. These are hardware errors, and they're all open status, meaning that this is something we currently need to look into and resolve to fix this issue. So now that we found this issue, we could go back and figure out the critical error of our other component. So we'll go back to process trade, and we'll go to our web front end. We see the same thing here, a node error. However, for this critical error, we could see that it's actually been resolved. So it may not be something we currently need to look into. We'll go over here then to errors. And looking at errors, we'll actually see that for the most part, these errors are all showing in the business transaction login. Now, if you remember from the beginning when we were looking at business transactions, there was quite a few errors and critical warnings going on. However, the business transaction itself is functioning properly. Now that we see that a lot of these login errors are occurring in this component, we can dig into them a little bit more to figure out exactly what might be going on. So let's go ahead and click on one of these errors and get some more details. So pulling it up, we can see that there's a user experience error within this component. It gives a little bit more details about potential issues that might be causing this, but let's drill down a little bit further. Here, we can see all the calls being performed within this component. This gives us a little bit more detail in the way that our application is functioning, so we know exactly where this error is occurring. We can see here on the bottom call, we're receiving an HTTP error. So finally, we can see here that the error occurring is actually connection refused. And then we get a little bit more information onto what this call is and what the errors are. This gives us more detail on what we can exactly dig into. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions or any comments, you know where to find me. Thank you.